Hello, I'm Shiraz Malikov, and I'm trying to build a project called recommendation system, which is hybrid recommendation system that recommends movies to the users. So let me inform my project structure. So I have backend and front end. So I differentiate them because they have different business logics. So basically, my project is mostly backend based. So I have a different folders that performs specific tasks. And for example, I have a first folder inside some files that perform something. So I have a README file for each folder to make my life easier to understand my project better and put them in a to make them better structured. So the folder API is basically contains all fast API roads, definitions, API endpoints. The files here should only define roads and call services. No module loading, no business logic, no data processing. It should be done here. So the second folder is core, and the folder contains application-wide resources that are loaded once at a startup. Example, loading pickled modules, dataset paths, global settings, no algorithms, no roads here being managed. So, and then another folder called GB. So the folder handles PostgreSQL connections and then SQL alchemy modules, defines the data stored in a database. No recommendations logic here, no API code here, and used by servers. So, and the next folder is module store. So basically, I use this folder to train my dataset with the static data, which is CSV files. So let's skip this one for now, and I got schemas. So the schemas folder contains dynamic schema defining the structure of API request and then response. The schemas validate data exchange between React and Fast API, between the front end and back end to say. So no business logic, no database code here. And let's move on to the services folder. I have some files that like implementation of modules. So the folder contains the recommendation logic, content-based filtering, collaborative filtering, hybrid filtering. Files here implement algorithms and business logic. No fast API code, no request response handling, no file loading. And then another folder is called the training. So I've been testing my module, how well they are performing in general. So let's skip this part. And I got two files here. So one of them is empty for now, and the second one is the main file that runs our fast API. And by running this file, some step-by-step task will be performed, and then we got cores to communicate with the front end in order to allow to communicate with the front end. So, and we got roads for users, ratings, and recommendations. So currently my backend is running, and let me taste my backend. So here we have endpoints to say, such as users that creates users, and we got user logins where users can log in actually, and then we got endpoints for ratings. So the user that is logged in can rate movies in order to get recommendations. So for now I have only one endpoint for recommendations. So I'm gonna add couple more, such as trending now, maybe, and to give a different movie recommendations for the user based on its action, and like a Netflix style. So, and let me test my endpoints here. So I'm trying to create a user to say called admin, and let's call it admin under -1, and then let's put the password 12345. If you execute this, you can see that we got 200, which is successful, and there is on the console, it says post users 200. Okay, so, and then let's move on to the another endpoint for logging. Let's try it. So as I've created the user, which is admin here, I'm gonna try to log in. So let me put the email admin /1, and then password, I guess it was 12345, and let's execute this. So we got 200 response body, which is successful. It gives me message login successful, and then user ID, and then admin. So as you can see here as well, so the login was successful. And let's test another endpoint which I've implemented, which is adding rating for a movie. So let's try to send a request, post request. So in these situations, the admin was a third user in my database, so I put free, and then movie, let's say 1000 with the ID, and then rating, I'm gonna rate 5 to say, and I'm gonna execute. Yes, as you can see, it was successful. So we got rating 5, user ID 3, and rated at is a timestamp. So, and then movie under the name, under the ID 1000. So, and then, so basically admin rated the movie. So my module has to return recommendations for that user. So I'm gonna send the request, give me movie recommendations for the user ID 3, which is topics, 10 top 10 movies. I'm gonna execute, and as you can see, I have 10 top 10 movies being recommended to the user. So, and then it gives you score, title, genre, and movie ID from my DB. And if you go there, as you can see, there is a log information as well, which is given full information of recommended movies to the user free. So how recommendation works in my project? So basically, whenever a user rates a movie, and in my backend, the module computes similarity between that user, and then it will return similar movies to the user, and then that returned similar movies, recommended movies to the user, will be stored in a cache table. It's called user recommendation cache table in my database. So for now, this is how my module is performing, and I'm moving forward to add more endpoints to handle recommendations, and then I will switch to implementing frontend as well. And I think that's it.